Aggressively Casual.
Goddamn show. All right, welcome everybody to Aggressively Casual, episode 8. I, as always, am Freebird. With me to my internet left is our wonderful co-host, Cheeks. Say hi, Cheeks.
Hello. What's up?
So, it's been an interesting couple of weeks with the holidays and everything. Things have been nuts around here. I haven't done as much content stuff as I'd like to. I haven't honestly played as many games as I would like to. But, you know, here we are. What have you been playing lately?
Pal World, actually. The new Fabric update dropped, and playing that on the server.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Lots of cool stuff. Lots of
cool stuff. Yeah.
Still some problems, but you know it's still in early access. It'll be in early access for a while.
Right. Right. Yeah. Lots of little interesting issues.
Some things I think they messed up, but you know,
yeah.
Some things seem to, not messed up, but some things seem to be worse than they were before the update.
Right, exactly. And again, early access game, yada yada yada. You know that's just kind of how it goes.
I think it cost me like $10. So I mean,
I think I paid. I think I paid for the. Yeah, it was like $10 or $15 besides the Steam credit that I had. Yeah, it wasn't expensive, and with the amount of use that we've got out of that game over the past, you know, however many 10 months, it's been pretty incredible, really.
Yeah, you know my metric, right?
Whoa.
So back in the day, in the mid '90s, back in the halcyon days of the mid '90s and CGI graphics, actually EGA.
Back in the late 1900s, yes.
Right. Sounds way farther when you say it like that. Anyway, I was on a live service called the Genie Network, the GE Network, Genie.
Yep.
I played a lovely little game called Multiplayer Battletech, and some Air Warrior and some other things on there too. But anyway, at that time, it cost you to play per hour.
Yep.
It was $7 prime time, $3 non-prime. You try to limit to non-prime. So anyway, my metric for any game that I buy to this day is, have I played enough to justify $3 an hour?
Fair.
For the cost
Fair.
that I put in.
I'll give you that. Yep, I'll give you that.
And if the answer is yes, then I really have nothing to bitch about.
Yeah. Yep. So on my end, I've been playing Pal World with you and Mike, and we're trying to get Jeff in there. I don't know if we will. Probably not. But been having a really good time playing that. But I got some bugbears I want to talk about tonight. But I've also been playing Indiana Jones. I think I'm almost done with that. I think I maybe have one or two more like longer sessions to go before I'm done. So I hope to finish that by like the end of the week ish cool. On stream. We'll see what life brings this weekend.
Good, then we can talk about the ending.
Yeah, right. And then I've been playing some Crime Scene Cleaner. I actually have a video coming out for that next week because I saw Sam playing it on here on Christmas Day, and I was like, you know what? It was on offer for the winter sale, and it looked like a fun, like relaxy type game for me, and I was like, sure. I'll pick it up.
It seems to be stupidly popular.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll pick it up and see.
That one and the Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, I love Power Wash Simulator.
Although the one I see too is the Power Wash Simulator with the 40K mod in it.
Yeah.
Where you're power washing 40K tanks and dreadnoughts. And
the other one that I like is I just lost the name. House Flipper. House Flipper 2. That one is really fun. House Flipper 2 has co-op, which is which is really interesting. The co-op for that game is in beta still, I believe, but it is a wonderful game. I love the first one. But I love games like that. Oh, and I picked up. I haven't played it yet, but I picked up that trading card simulator shop one. That a bunch of people have been playing. That one looks really fun. I wanted to try it out. Probably get a video or two out of that. Maybe some live streams. We'll see how far that what legs that one has. But I want to kind of dive into our topic tonight, which is not necessarily about survival games, but because we're playing Pal World, we've been talking about Dune Awakening and what they've shown, and we've talked about things like Ark recently. I want to talk about the sandbox game versus the guided experience, and then also how grouping changes survival games. Because I mentioned this to you yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, where I said my biggest bugbear with survival games that offer online co-op is that progression when you are in when you form a clan or a guild or whatever in these games, all of your progression becomes tied to the guild, and there's no way to separate out personal progression, like say what you would get in like an MMO versus guild, clan, fleet, whatever you want to call it, progression. And I think that's a huge missed opportunity and a problem, because I told you, again, I think I mentioned it last night and the night before, that I feel very overwhelmed sometimes playing these games because there's so many steps to do. And let's say let's say you're playing Pal World and I'm not, right? And you want to bring me into Pal World. Like, we have two options to play together, right? It's either I come in and I learn the ropes by myself and slowly progress to get to the point where you are, wherever that is, or you give me a bunch of crap to get caught up to where you are, but then I'm like, I don't understand the mechanics of how the game works. So I'm like, okay, well, I have all this cool stuff and I can go and pew the things, but I missed out on the exploration, the world building, the whatever.
Stream
and
just locked
so
up.
and so I'm like,
Oh, we're back.
I'm
Yeah,
like, it's interesting.
I find that same thing happens in MMOs as well. Also, side note, love this stuff. If you want to sponsor, hey.
I wouldn't mind that, actually. I wouldn't mind that.
God, I pretty much single-handedly keep Snapple and Peach Tea in business, I think, at times.
It is quite good. So my thing is like, so
go ahead.
Relating to the broad topic overall, I usually prefer a little bit of hand-holding when I'm first starting out in a game. I'm not the biggest fan of games where you are just kind of given the keys to the realm and said, go, because it's...
A la Elite Dangerous.
A la Elite Dangerous, a la Star Wars Galaxies back in the day.
Right, here's a ship. Have fun. Boom.
Like, it's not that I don't enjoy that type of gameplay. It's that for me, when you tell me there's 50,000 options in a game, my fucking ADHD brain can't go...
You have executive dysfunction when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, I've got 50,000 things I can do. Which one do I start with?
Exactly.
I think some of that, there's a couple of things. One, you run into this in any game, whether it's a survival game, whether it's WoW, EQ. Whatever.
Yeah.
Any game where there's grouping and I can give you shit, you're going to have this problem.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You want to play these games. Here, the flip side of that is you come onto the Pal World server and I say, have fun. Let me know when you reach level 60.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
And then now you're just soloing a game because, everybody else is so far ahead of you. And this I find this happens way more in MMOs because of the level restrictions often. In survival games, quite often, while there is leveling, that's really not the restriction, right? The restriction is more of your gear. And yes, you are absolutely correct. You have to be a fine line, and that's why Pal World is a good example. When you got on the server and I'd already been playing for a while and I had built up some stuff, I'm like, look, here's some stuff. It's better than the starter gear, but it ain't all that in a bag of chips.
Right.
It ain't going to take you to the end game, right?
Right.
But by the time, the theory is, and maybe I'm wrong, that by the time you catch up to that gear, you'll still have learned the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
That's harder to do in an MMO because when you and let's face it, to use the terminology in MMO, we're talking about twinking a character, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
when it comes to like WoW, well, here's all this stuff. This'll, so great. Now I just mow through this content,
Yep.
but I don't really learn how to play the game. There has to be a happy medium somewhere. Like everything else, there needs to be a happy medium. It's a land of extremes, because you want to play with your friends, but man, my friends have been playing WoW for however long.
Yep.
These days,
Well-
sometimes it's my friends have been playing WoW for damn near 20 years, so to speak, and they're maxed out with everything. I'm finally starting this game. Now I have to catch up, but let's face it, at this point, they're not really interested in trying to catch you up. Right.
So the nice thing, the thing about using WoW as an example, I always think is funny, because WoW specifically has built-in catch-up mechanics to the game to
But it
alleviate.
didn't always have that.
But and that's what I'm
the
saying.
thing.
It didn't always have that, but they did learn the lesson. And for the past, I'd say, 5, maybe as close to 10 years, they've had a form of catch-up mechanics in the game. There's one in there right now. They just launched their mid-patch, right?
Well, and a lot of times with, for the last several expansions, you get a token where you can jump a character up, which is another part of this topic that I think is a terrible idea for your first character.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't fire that token and take him to max level when you've never played a game before.
Yep. I mean, I was playing Lord of the Rings Online, right? I've been playing that game pretty much off and on for a couple of months now, maybe
Right.
3 or 4 months. And I've done some content around it. And I had a character that I got about halfway to the maximum level on the main retail server, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, I've played this character before. I know what I'm doing. But on the progression server, I took my time and just got to 50 naturally, right? Because it's a progression server. But I wasn't about to spend 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 plus hours getting a character to 150 on retail. Like, that just seems silly to me when I could experience the story through the progression server and whatever.
Right.
So I was a little bit different, but I'm still experiencing the story on the progression server, but I also learned the mechanics on the retail server. So that's a little different there. But like my thing is, like, especially in and maybe it does seem to be geared more towards survival games. And because we've been playing Pal World, this has been on my mind a lot lately. The minute that you fired up the guild in Pal World, right, and you invited me to the guild, all of my personal progression went away.
Right.
And
that's a problem. That is a problem. That's a Pal World issue, though. That's actually literally a Pal World issue. There's no other survival game. It doesn't happen in Ark.
No.
It doesn't happen in
It happened in Enshrouded.
Yeah, it kind of does happen in Enshrouded. That's
it happened.
True.
It happened in.
Only sort of happens in Nightingale.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of happens in Nightingale, but Nightingale is more. Nightingale is now, especially now with the update they did, more about the shared world experience than it is about your personal journey through it.
This is possibly too games trying to have the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to have this massive together experience, but they can't turn loose of that solo experience as well. I'm not necessarily saying they should, but in Pal World's case, Pal World seems to be the most egregious offender here, because the way their guild works, that once you're in a guild, everything is tied to that guild, from your progression to the amount of bases that can be in the world.
Yep. Well, and
I fixed that, by the way.
Well, the other thing that I find odd with Pal World specifically is, like, they want you very badly to play with a group. You can tell that, right?
But the thing is, the group mechanics kind of suck.
But the group, I was about to say, but the group mechanics aren't great.
Because there isn't any grouping per se. You're just in the same area. It's part of that is there's no healing. There's no trinity in this game, right? So I can't really heal you. I can't really do it's this the whole damn game is just DPS City.
Right. It's not like you you and I are in a group and you can summon me to where you are to go fight
Right.
something to help you. I mean, we experienced it last night. It was
Right.
oh fuck,
Word.
you have the point, the spawn point, I don't. I've got to go to the
Right.
nearest one and fly there, which I'm fine with, and we were fine
But
with.
you run in again.
but-
That you run in. That's just a thing because you run into that in MMOs as well.
Yeah, but that to me, right? If I'm in a guild with you, right? Just like in Enshrouded or in Nightingale, I should be able to port to you as long as I have access to the area you're in.
Sure, I don't disagree. Don't misunderstand me. I don't disagree with that point. It makes life a hell of a lot easier.
Right.
Right.
Well,
But
and
very
with-
few games actually have that.
Right. Well, and with
There's
Pal
only a
World,
few that have that.
and with Pal World specifically, right? And a lot of my bugbears are going to come from Pal World because that's what I'm playing right now.
Well, that's what we're playing right now.
Yeah,
Right?
if I was playing Dune Awakening or fucking Ark or whatever, I had or Conan. I've had
Now, Ark has that same problem. I can't summon you in Ark either.
Yeah, but
yeah, and it is an issue. But at the same time, I mean, that's just more of a time issue than anything else.
right.
But my more issue is the issue we had where we were trying to do the boss fight and two of us got in and I didn't.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That was a weird one.
We
And
had
that's
all
only
accepted
happened
the
once.
quest, and yeah.
But
We're
the
all
idea
accepted the
there
fight.
is if you
Yeah.
can group, like First Descendant, somebody in the group starts a mission, you're in that mission.
Or do it the way that Path of Exile or Remnant 2 do it, where if I go start a boss fight, you can still enter the boss fight after it's started.
Right.
Why are you
Wait.
instance
No, I
locking?
can't. No, we can't. Not in Path of Exile.
Yes, in Path of Exile, when you started a boss fight, I would get
Yeah?
locked behind a door, and I could push the little button or whatever to join
Oh,
you.
could you? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, if you die and you revive, you can't get back in,
Yeah, that's a different story. But
which I think is dumb. If you're gonna let somebody revive me, then let me go back in.
yep, I agree. But
anyway,
if you, yep,
don't get me on Path of Exile too. I'll never
if
stop.
right, to follow up on last episode, apparently people are fine with the mechanics of that game.
Apparently they are, and so it's not going to change, and that probably means I'm done with it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
It's got a long ways to go.
It's got a long ways to cook.
I would be somewhat surprised if some of that didn't change, but it may
Right.
not. And if it
So
doesn't,
here's-
then I probably am done.
Yeah, right, exactly. So here's kind of where my thought lies, especially with a game like Dune coming, and there's a couple other survival games that are coming out next year that I like the idea of, but they all seem to fall into this same Pal World style trap. What I think needs to happen, and maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you can iterate on this with me, right? I think what these games need to do is they need to have 2 tracks of progression. Right? You have your personal track of progression, which is how you progress yourself through the game, right? Then if you join up with a group or a guild or whatever the fuck we're calling it in this game, right? Then you have progression that is tied to that guild, that group, that whatever, right? And that is separate from your personal progression. So you can contribute to the guild as much as you want to or can or whatever. And even if that's all you want to do is contribute to the guild or the group or whatever, that's fine. But your personal track should never go away, because that personal track, when you lose that personal track of accomplishment, of achievement, of the journey, whatever you want to call it, you lose identity with your character. You lose immersion with the character that you're playing. All these games spend so much time creating these detailed worlds, these detailed plans, detailed systems and everything, but it loses basic fundamentals of am I attached to the character that I'm playing right now? That's a problem for me.
Right. I do not disagree. I don't disagree one bit. The weird thing is the thing that they need to figure out is how do I put this? You do want to keep them separate. But I don't know that you can separate them completely without just divorcing them all together, and now never the twain shall meet, and it's going to end up being one or the other. I think there's a way. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a way, but like the thing they need to do with Pal World and we'll just stick with this example because
All right.
again, Pal World seems to be the most egregious one here. Of once you're in a guild, everything is tied to that guild except your level.
Yep.
And the things that you can craft.
Yep.
But I can still craft them for you. You know.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
So then the question becomes though, okay, if you want to uncouple those, then you're only going to be limited to being able. Then the most obvious solution there is you can only use the things that you have unlocked the recipes for.
Right.
Which then puts us right back to, oh, I want you to do this fight, but you don't have this yet. So now we're back to that MMO thing of requirements to enter the dungeon in the first place, so to speak. You come back. It's weird because you start to see how hard these problems are to solve, right? Because you keep coming back to the same fucking corner. You think you've gotten around this corner, and then you're like, oh, that was a circle. Huh, look at that.
Right.
We're right back where we started.
Right.
And there has to be a solution somewhere of some sort. I'm not sure what it is right offhand. But yeah, they do need to. I think the key here though is less about the uncoupling of the systems and more about the continuity of the identity of your character.
Yeah. Fair. Fair.
More about keeping that, because this is what I'm hearing you say is the problem is not really the systems. The problem is the systems that are in place cause you to lose touch and you don't get invested in the character.
Yep.
So how then do you keep someone invested in the character as opposed to doing it systematically that way? Might be a better track. I don't know. The weird thing is they need to, again, go into Pal World, they need to uncouple the base journey from the character journey. Right?
Yeah.
So because you've got the base journey, and who gives a damn? If you couple the base journey to the guild, great, whatever. Because then you all contribute, right? If all you want to do is go out and mine for 4 hours and dump 4 million ore into the guild base, great. But the problem is with Pal World, everything is coupled to that base journey right now.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. That's honestly one. That's yeah.
You might have the solution there. Same thing with now Arc does this pretty well. Even if you're in a guild, don't make two shits. It's just, you can guild up and have one base that everybody can use.
Right.
But there's nothing tied to that base, right? So you could just go out and be like, oh, here, guys, I spent a couple hours mining up mats. That box is full of like 4 bajillion things now, so you can build the stuff.
Yeah, well, which is why I liked back in the day the way that Star Wars Galaxies worked when you joined a guild, right? Or when you joined a whatever they called them in Gal. I can't remember if they called them guilds or not. It's been forever since I've touched Galaxies.
It's been a while.
But the thing that I loved about Galaxies when you joined a guild was you felt like you as your character, whatever that character was, whether you were a combat guy, whether you were a merchant guy, whether you were a healer, a buff, whatever, you felt like you were contributing something to that group based on the needs of the group you were playing with. Right? And that's what I think that some of these survival games and honestly some other MMOs could really use is that overall feeling of accomplishment and again make me give a shit about the time that I spend with the character I'm playing and make and I don't care. Like we saw this in Destiny, right? Like when like Destiny in the dungeons and the raid system, there's no sense of progression there outside of get cool loot.
Right.
Like there's no sense of there's no sense of okay, I did this with my guild group, therefore we're gonna get something really cool other than more loot. Like, that's not enough. Like,
but hasn't that been the object of raids since the dawn of raids?
Well, yeah, but what I mean is like you would get loot from the Hawthorne that wasn't even tied to the activity you were doing. It was just more random loot in an engram.
Right.
That's
well,
not
the guild engram is kind of weird.
Yeah, they're pointless. So,
You know.
but so
Well, so what I'm hearing now though, this is kind of sliding the topic a little bit. Um, I mean, it's not, but it's sliding the topic of character identity to guild identity. So what you then need is a path. In what you've been saying the whole
yeah.
fucking time, really,
Well, because if
is you need
you
a path for both of that. You need an identity that is distinct to your character.
Yep.
And an identity that is distinct to your guild.
If you look at a game like Ashes of Creation, which has been in alpha for a little while now, I mean, it's not really coming out for a couple of years, but I've been watching people play the alpha because I've been interested in the idea of, you know, you have that seems like a game where you have your character progression, right? You have your levels, you have your whatever. But then you have your guild, your township progression as well tied to that, and it actually seems, unlike New World, it seems like a fully fleshed out system, even in the alpha state that the game is in. So that basically, you as whatever class you are, let's say I'm a mage, right, and I have a gathering, and I have gathering skills as a mage, right. I can then turn those gathering, the things that I've gathered, into the guild, what a guild chest, vault, you know, progress, whatever. Not only do I get experience for that as my character, I help the guild achieve whatever goal it is they're trying to achieve. That seems like a really good way of going about that system. I know it's not easy. I know not every game can do it that exact way, but
No,
some
but that sort of
form
system
of that
exists in several games, actually.
Yeah.
And Power World lacks that at
Yep.
this
Yeah.
point. That's
Yeah.
that's one thing. So maybe we're coming to the heart of the matter. The problem with Power World is less about that, other than the fact that they just need to flesh that system out more than tying your base level to everything.
Yeah.
And being done with it. Instead of just your base level, maybe you need some experience too. You got to build these things, but then you have to collect X number of experience by either mats or crafting other thing or whatever. Yeah, New World system was okay. And it sounds like I haven't followed Ashes of Creation too much. It's just in the periphery. I'm like, when it gets closer to actually being thing, I'll pay attention.
I love MMOs, but I'm not spending $100 and some just to play it early. I'm sorry.
There is that.
Especially when it's a work in progress. It's not even up 24/7 yet, and there's wipes. There's going to be a wipe. Why would I invest, hundreds of hours into a game when I know I'm not going to have that character in a couple of years?
Right. Exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
That's the problem.
Doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It obviously makes sense to enough people because they're doing it and they haven't cut those prices. So, and whether I agree with those prices or not, I disagree because I haven't paid it. So, so obviously I think it's overpriced for what you get right now.
Exactly.
That may change in the future. Who knows? Turns out Path of Exile was overpriced for what I get right now too. Sorry.
Right? Same.
Blatant shot.
Right. I think
we definitely need to get some,
I swear to God,
we need to get some graphics, some Batman graphics for stuff like that. That when somebody does that blatant shot.
Actually, that's a
biff, pow.
That's a really good idea because we can monitor this with the Stream Deck. Yeah, that's a really. I'm gonna work on that this weekend.
Yeah, we need some blatant graphics.
Do me a favor. Write that in our group chat, would you?
Right.
That way I've got it. but I said for me, like it made me feel bad the other night when you had said something off the cuff. And I mean, feel bad is like the wrong word, but it made me feel weird, like when you had said something about. Like do you even Power World? And I know it was a joke, but I was like, well, not really, no. Like it was, but then I thought more about it like later in the night, and I was like, it felt strange to me, because I was like, I don't know. It felt weird to me because I was like, well, I don't feel like I'm doing anything meaningful with my time in the game. I think that's my bugbear with the whole thing is I don't feel like I'm doing anything meaningful with my time, which is why when I escorted you out of that tunnel last night with my pal,
Right.
I was like,
Even
and
Pal
I
World, bro?
helped.
No. Apparently, I don't Pal World in the dark. Well, and when I said that, I look at the same thing as like when we're playing Destiny and
Oh yeah.
I throw a Nova bomb into the wall. Do you even Warlock, bro? No, I don't. Not currently.
No, not
Apparently.
currently. No, apparently not. And like I said, it wasn't like I said, don't take like me saying I feel bad. It's like, oh, I'm bad or whatever. It was a thing where I was like, oh yeah, like it's like I don't feel like I'm doing a lot to contribute in any meaningful way, and I hate that feeling when I play a
I think
group
that was
game.
also the time where you were flying in circles, and we're
It
like,
might have been. It
where
might
are
have
you
been.
going? We're right
Well,
here.
Look, if the game had a fucking mini map, it wouldn't be a
God,
problem.
right? Jesus, you're not wrong. And so okay, so
Or hear me out. No, it doesn't even mini map because it has a compass. How about
Right.
group fucking little icons
Markers.
on the map? Group markers, please.
Right, little markers.
Please.
So here's the thing. I freely admit that I'm an EverQuest kid, right? Played EverQuest for bajillion years. Occasionally, still go back to it. And I'm talking about EQ1, not EQ2. Don't get me wrong, I like EQ2. I'm one of the few people I know that actually liked the original iteration of EverQuest 2 and the way they did their classes. But anyway, I was watching an interview with one of the programmers from back in the day who also then went to work on Vanguard with Brad McQuaid.
Yep. Okay.
And he was talking about Brad's vision, trademark. So I could also say that, in a side note, that EverQuest worked right up until the time the vision was thrown away, and then it stopped working as well. But anyway, They were talking about maps, and the thing about McQuaid was he was dead set against minimaps.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I want you to explore the world, learn the way, learn the paths. And I'm like, it makes sense on the one hand. On the other hand, I just got off work. I've got 2 hours to play this game before I go to bed. I don't want to spend an hour and a half of it running around looking for what I'm supposed to be.
Yep.
Entrance to Befallen, anyone? Or not Befallen, but Unrest.
I just had
Unrest,
why is PTSD, man? Jesus Christ.
We're trying to find the stupid ancient Cyclops. Spectres to the dock. If you get that reference, you're old. But so it's a philosophy, but yeah, these days I'm like, yeah, that's great. Give me a damn mini map so I can see where I'm going.
Yep.
Because especially if you're in a game that has flight. At the time, EverQuest didn't have flight. So you know what I did have? Landmarks.
Right? I have nothing with,
Look, I remember this crumpled statue of this dwarf was right here, and I turned left at the statue.
Yeah.
I'm 400 feet in the air. I got nothing. That's not the same cloud I was looking at yesterday. Turn left at the third cloud on the right. No, that doesn't work. Give me a damn mini-map. Or just, like you say, give me a compass with a little dot. It says, go that way.
Right? Give me something. Even fucking FPS games figured this out with the compass that gives you directional fucking the fucking compass numbers, right? But then if somebody shoots, you can turn around and fucking see where it's coming from with the compass.
Right.
Why? And directional markers are a thing. Why are directional markers not a thing? Why?
Right. And it's a modern convenience, right? But it's fine that we can have modern convenience in games. Why? Because games are entertainment.
Right.
Sometimes developers tend to forget that games are entertainment.
And that goes back to the show we did 2 weeks ago. Games want to be your job.
Right.
And it all ties together. Amazing that, huh?
My ideal game is a game that I can pick up. I can play it for 10 minutes or 10 hours.
Yep.
And most games today, you can't do that. You require a block of time just to get started. much less get any meaningful progression.
Yep.
Even Destiny, if I want to log in, you're still talking about 30 minutes to get anything done at all. But
Yeah.
which is fine. 30 minutes I think is a viable block of time. And typically, if I don't have at least 30 minutes to an hour, I ain't logging into a game anyway.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes you just want to log in, do the thing, jump right back out. You know, I guess it comes from the day of playing old style turn-based asynchronous games where you send the turn files back and forth.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm old. Turned 55 in 2 days. Shut up. So you jump in, you do your turn, you send it off, and you can send it back and forth. I miss that style of gaming. Actually, it's really good for when your friends are halfway across the fucking country,
right?
And you don't have time to sit down and play,
right? Well, the other thing, if we're talking about wish lists, especially in games like Pal World or even Dune Awakening when that comes out, right? Here's what I would love to see, right? I would love to see a system where if you log on, let's say you have a day off, right? And you log on in the middle of the day and you do a bunch of tasks, and you want me if you know I'm logging on later in the evening, you're not going to be on. You want to leave me like some tasks to do. You can assign me almost like tasks or quests.
Yeah,
right?
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Like, hey, I got us to this point. Could you try to get us to here?
Yeah, because then I have agency to log on and play without you.
Right.
Whereas a game like the way Pal World is right now, it's like, okay, like I can log on and do my own thing, but I'm kind of just doing.
So here's the thing: they changed that because if you recall, and I don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly sure this was the way it was when we first played this game, when it first dropped.
Yeah.
It wasn't all coupled to a single journey. It was coupled to everyone's journey. So like if I built the thing and I got us to 3, and then you built the thing, even if it was the same thing, it'd still take the guild base to 4.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And they've changed that.
I think you're right.
To where now you're just all on the same journey, which is fine if you're all at the same level.
Right, but it's like at this point, if we wanted to get another friend in our server, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Well, what the problem is, if we want somebody else now, they literally have base-wise nothing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I maxed this out today for one thing. We're at level 30.
Oh, nice.
I also fixed the multiple base thing. I found that setting, side note, I found that setting buried in a second INI file.
Oh my god.
That I think it's the INI file the game is actually using.
Wow.
Not the one the server thinks it's using.
That's insane. That's just I mean that's just dumb.
Right. And the thing is, you're never going to find that if you're not an actual admin.
Yeah.
I do system admin for a living. Well, did for, I don't, not so much anymore. Now I'm in governance, but I did system. So I know, hey, you know what? Maybe this is buried in another file somewhere. Let's get on the FTP and start looking at the actual files.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look, that's that same setting. And it's set to 4. Huh.
Yeah.
When I mess with it in that file, it does nothing at all. Let's see what happens when I change it here. Look at that. Fix the problem. On we go.
Right.
Right. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing. They need to. It all has the key here that we've hit on a few times, but I think we haven't nailed down is agency.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to feel like they have agency and are contributing to the good of the whole.
Yep. Because at this point, it's like, okay, we have...
Sorry.
Right? Yeah, right? But at this point, it needs to feel like I need to have a reason, an agency to log into Pal World, because right now it's okay. We all have bases in the new, big shiny area. I think I know you and I do. I don't know if Mike does yet.
He does.
But okay, he does. Okay, so like we all have bases in the new shiny area, and that's fun. But we're gonna burn through that content in a couple of weeks, and then it's like, okay, what is the reason beyond?
But see, now we all have that same problem.
Yeah.
Other than Other than once we beat the final boss, which there's a few left, we still have 4 or 5 left to
Like
go.
4 or 5
actually.
left, yeah. There's quite a few.
Because we still
to
have
be
at
fair.
least 2 on the old island that we haven't done.
Yeah.
We've done all the ones that open up most of the one path, but there's actually still a couple of things, if you look at the path, that still needs to be open. But once you beat all the bosses, right now the only thing left is then go around and capture. Got to catch them all.
But yeah, right. but even
blatant shot.
But even then, it's one of those things where it's like the way that they've changed capture rates. I don't know that they're making it worth your time to pursue trying to catch them all.
Well, so I've decided that when it comes to Pal World, the developers do not intend you to play with the default settings.
Fair, okay.
They just don't, because when you play it on the default settings, it's damn near impossible. If you leave everything bog standard,
yeah,
woof. It's a
rough go.
No, that's going to be a rough go. It's going to take you forever to collect anything. You're not going to have a capture rate that's worth a damn.
Yeah.
Looking at everything, looking at the community, looking at everything else, I honestly at this point don't think they expect you to play on the bog standard default settings anymore. And almost all of the servers now allow you to change those settings. They didn't when they first came out.
Yeah.
That's why we went with who we did, because we could change those settings. And so we've played with those to the point where, like I said, like we talked about online, I want a challenge, but I don't want to slog.
Right. I love a challenge. Right? I love challenge in video games. It's part of the reason you play video games, for a sense of accomplishment when you beat the damn challenge. What I don't like is feeling like I'm bashing my head against a desk for no goddamn reason.
Which, by the way, folks, beating something in a game gets you absolutely nothing in real life. Thank you for this. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
Preach.
With that being said, go forth and raid, get fat loots.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But hold please.
Yep. So I guess for me, like when it comes to Pal World specifically, like the agency is a big thing for me. But when it comes to other games in general, I just want to feel like I'm contributing something to either my character, myself, or to the group I'm playing with, because that keeps me coming back. That keeps me playing. And I don't feel as overwhelmed. I don't feel
here's the thing. So let me flip that on the other side. There's now survival games when it comes to you and I'm just going to say this. I got a leg up when it comes to survival games because that's my jam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my jam. However, flop that over to playing Call of Duty.
Yep.
And everything out of my mouth is, how the fuck do I do this?
Yep.
How do I do this? How do I do this? So part of that is game type specific.
Yeah, sure.
Because you play far more shooters than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend all my time going, well, I'm sucking up bullets, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not terrible, but I ain't great either. I'm no Stu.
You don't run us ahead?
Or get that too. Stop pushing the buttons. Let somebody else push the button.
Mate, I'm telling you, the best part about playing Helldivers 2 is he has to slow down for a minute and push the buttons with 2 people. It's great.
Right. Yeah.
Look, Stu, if you watch this, we love you.
Oh, absolutely.
I wouldn't rib you if I didn't love you.
Right. The more we rib, the more we love, which is like, if you listen to our conversations privately on the Discord, you would think we fucking hate each other.
That's how Grandma died.
Right? We're still stuck in the 3rd and 4th grade. Believe me.
I'm sorry, chat. For those of you who are new here, who don't hang out with us on a regular basis, we should probably explain, Cheeks.
Right. So, we have taken the phrase, "That's what she said," and replaced it with "That's how Grandma died." It's applicable in every single same situation, and it's far, far funnier.
Damn straight.
Try it. You'll be pleased. We've secretly replaced your phrase with something else. Let's see if they notice. Also, hashtag if you get that, you're old. I haven't seen a Folgers commercial in ages.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so
Oh,
if you
man.
get That's How Grandma Died, just it's substituting for That's What She Said. And it's way funnier
Exactly.
and works in every single, and more, really, actually. Works in many, many situations that the other one might not.
Right, exactly. All right, we're coming up on an hour here. I have some other things. I have some other things I unfortunately have to do this evening with the child. So we're probably gonna have to cut it a little short here. But as always, I love doing this show. I feel like I get a little smarter every week when we do this show together. I think about things in a different way, right? And I actually listen to people's opinions, and then you know what I do? I form my own opinion.
Weird.
What a weird thing to do, right? How dare I? How dare I
Thinking
form
for
my own
yourself.
opinion? How dare I think for my... Well, it's like George Carlin said. I got this real moron thing I do called thinking.
Are you even social media, bro?
Right? I'm sorry. That's right. I forgot how this works.
Hashtag don't at me.
I forgot how this works. I'm supposed to pick a YouTuber. I'm supposed to
Right.
follow them to the ends of the earth with whatever shitty opinion it is they have this week.
I do.
And
I'm that YouTuber, and it's my shitty opinion. So there we go.
There we go. We got this. But as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in every couple of weeks. We really appreciate it. Tonight, Cheeks, was actually the largest live audience we've had for a show. So
like
thank
5
you. Like 20.
Whoa, good lord.
So thank you everyone for stopping by. We always appreciate it. We'll have the VOD up by Thursday. With the holiday this week, it may push to Friday, but I'd say Thursday, Friday, the VOD will be up in case you missed this.
Speaking of, always, everyone enjoy celebrating my birthday. Thank you.
That's right. Everybody enjoy celebrating Cheeks' birthday. Happy early birthday, Cheeks. We love you.
55. I am now officially the speed limit in places.
Oh my.
Jeff is the speed limit in others.
It's true. He is. All right, friends. Thank you so much. I love you all, and we'll speak to you all again in a couple of weeks.
See you guys. Peace out.